California.
Michael.
Michael Campbell.
Previously known as Michael Campbell.
That's wonderful to see.
Georgia at one point.
Meepum.
Albuquerque.
From Albuquerque. That's wonderful.
Los Angeles, California.
New Mexico.
Good morning from Pittsburgh.
Oh, from Pittsburgh. Excellent.
Good morning from Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. Oh.
Guatemala.
Oh, Guatemala. Oh, Guatemala. Okay.
Tucson, Arizona.
Yeah.
In Jakarta.
Oh,
I
from
see.
Chile.
Yes,
Chile.
Paz.
How are you?
Oh, good. Chile must
From
be
Chile
hot.
too.
Chile is hot. Yes,
Chile.
but it's
We have snow here.
here is 30 degrees. Very hot.
Oh.
Okay, we're coming to Chile soon.
Yes,
Oh,
Santiago.
that's good. Welcome, please.
Great.
Welcome.
Steve Mason went to Santiago.
Yeah.
There is also, let's see, Singapore. Yeah.
Yeah, good morning from Singapore. Good morning, Dr. Lai. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Captain.
Good morning, Dr. Lai. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody.
That's right. Good night. Also, some people.
Some maybe good evening.
Good evening.
Good morning, Kenshin from Los Angeles. Stephen,
Yes,
Melissa.
Los Angeles, I'd see.
Los Angeles. Cornelius, North Carolina.
Oh, Clara. Clara Ecuer is also from Chile, you know.
Yes, I am from Chile and I'm here with you.
Yeah.
There are over 100 people from Georgia.
Okay.
Good morning from Tucson, Arizona.
Oh, from Tucson.
Yes, good morning,
Excellent.
Kenton.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
Wonderful. So we are going to start again with the opening prayers. And I ask that, so I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone right now. Omar, if you can go ahead and mute everyone. That way there will not be feedback. So we're going to begin with the usual opening prayers, the short one. Hold on, some technical stuff. Okay. First, in English, one time each, someone will read, and we can all listen to that and let those words kind of sink into the heart. And then after that, we'll chant in Tibetan. As I said last time, the chanting in the Tibetan is to remember the past and to plant the seed for the future. To remember the past, as in this precious Dharma has come to us through the Tibetan people, to remember that kindness, and then a seed for the future, because there's still so much that is in Tibetan that is not translated. Even just within Jungagyu, Kyobpa Rinpoche's general collected works is 12 volumes. What we have done is just a single drop in this ocean of 12 volumes. So perhaps if it might plant a seed, it might inspire some of us, maybe this life, maybe next life, to learn Tibetan and other languages and to help translate these teachings. That would be most wonderful. So to start, if we can have a volunteer, if you have the text, to please read one time the English that is on page 1. and page 2. So if you have the text, please go ahead and unmute yourself and read for us, and the rest of us will listen.
All mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness, may they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious awakening. Thus, until I achieve awakening, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until awakening is reached. By the merit of generosity and other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all wandering beings. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
Thank you, Kathy. Now, the chant on page 1. Dola thomba jebe dra no par jebe ge tarba dhan tham je gembe barde jobra jeba tham je ge zu jebe ma nanga dang nambe senjen tham je de wa dhan de dung yao dang de ne de la na me pa yang dabra zobe janju rempo je tobra jo Dala Dhamma Jebe Dra Nobar Jebe Ge Tarba Dhan Tham Je Gembe Bardu Jobra Jeba Tham Jege Su Jebe Ma Nang Kadang Nyampe Zenchen Tham Je Dewa Dhang Den Dunya Dang De Nedu Lana Meba Yang Dhapra Zobe Janju Rimbo Je Dobra Jo Dala Dhamma Jebe Dra Nobar Jebe Ge Tarba Dan Tham Je Gembe Bardu Jobra Jeba Tham Jege Su Jebe Ma Nang Kadang Nyambe Zenjen Tham Je Dewa Dhang Den Dunya Dang Der Nerdu Lana Meba Yang Dabra Zobe Janju Rimbo Je Dobra Jo De Sama Gege Bardu Lunga Yizum Gewala Ko Maji Bardu Lunga Yizum Gewala Ko De Tering Ne Zunte Nema Samta Samge Bardu Lunga Yizum Gewala Ko Zongye Jodan Sogye Chonam La Chanchu Bardu Dane Kyabsu Chi Dage Jinsu Gebe Sonange Drola Penche Sanje Drubra Shu Sanje Jodan Sogye Chonam La Chanchu Bardu Dane Kyabsu Chi Dagi Jinsu Gebe Sonange Drola Penche Sanje Rubra Shu Sanje Jodan Soge Jonam La Chanchu Bardu Dane Kyabsu Je Dagi Jinsu Gebe Sonange Drola Penche Sanje Rubra Shu Manang Kadang Nyambe Senchen Tamje Dewa Dhang Dewe Gindan Dembra Gyurji Dungyao Dhang Dungyao Gi Gyudang Drawa Gyurji Dungyao Mebe Dewa Dhame Drawa Gyurji Niring Chadang Nida Drawe Tangyang La Nabra Gyurji Manang kadang nyampe zenjen tamje dewa dan dewe gendan dembra gyurji dunya dan dunya gi gyudan rava gyurji dunya mebe dewa dame dewa gyurji niding chadang nidang dewe tanyon la nebra gyurji manang kadang nyampe zenjen tamje dewa dang dewe gendan dembra gyurji dunya dang dunya gi gyudan dewa gyurji dunya mebe dewa dame dewa gyurji niring chadang nidang dewe tanyon la nebra gyurji. Next is the offering of the mandala to request for these precious teachings, followed by the request for the Guru to give these teachings to us for the benefit of all beings. So in the handout, this is on page 3 and 4. And again, if I can have someone do this in English. Could we have another volunteer to read this in English?
I can do it.
Yes, please. Thank you.
This ground, sprinkled with scented waters and strewn with flowers, adorned with the supreme mountain, the four continents, the sun and the moon, I hold in mind as a Buddha field and offer it. May all wandering beings experience such a pure land. To all gurus, throughout complete with the three kayas, I offer these outer, inner, and secret and thusness offerings, together with my body, wealth, and the entirety of phenomenal existence. Please grant the unsurpassed supreme attainment. Whatever slight virtue that may have been gathered through prostrations, offerings, confessing, rejoicing, requesting, and beseeching, I now dedicate to complete awakening.
And then the next page. Please turn the wheel.
Please turn the wheel of Dharma of the greater, lesser, and common vehicles in accordance with the dispositions and mental capacities of sentient beings.
Thank you.
Om Guru Devadaki.
Bojo Juje Medon Rira Linje Ninde Gemba de Zangje Jinla Mede Pulwa Ye Rogo Namda Jindu Jobra Ju Guzun Yonzo Lame Tonamla Jinang Zangsum Deje Niki Ju Dalu Longchu Nangji Yonje La Lame Jugin Wadu Tadu Zu Jaze Wadan Jujing Shabadan Jizu Yirang Gujing Sowa Ye Gewa Junze Dagi Jizaba Damje Zobe Janju Jirungo Om Guru Deva Dagini Rana Mandala Pradeja Soha Zimjin Amge Zambada Loye Jedra Jidarwa Jejun Dumon Tebaye Chogi Gorlo Gordu Now, Linda, if you can help unmute. Oh, okay, Rinpoche now is good.
Oh.
Yeah, it's done.
Good.
So let me quickly say something. So the text that Rinpoche chose for today, and also Rinpoche has chosen the text for next Saturday. This text here, the title, Teaching that the Resultant Qualities Follow from the Two Accumulations, Not Asceticism. So during the translation process and editing process, four of us working on this team had a discussion about this word asceticism. So that is going to be tentative based on Rinpoche's teachings. Basically, the connotation is like going through like hardships and suffering, like, you know, like in the Indian Hindu tradition of like extreme like asceticism, like torturing yourself. So at first we thought we would use the word hardship, but after some discussion, we thought that maybe hardship is not the right word. And so for now, we're using asceticism. So some footnote editorial comment on this particular choice. So then based on Rinpoche's teachings, we will reconsider whether this word asceticism is good or not good. So that's all. Please, Rinpoche.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, everybody. First, please take a deep breath. Inhale fully. And exhale all the tensions and stress. Just relax your mind. And as we said, there's some opening prayers, you see. Our study and practice these teachings are just to reflect our mind. And the effort is to maintain our mind in the right place, which means it may become a cause of peace and happiness, not a cause of suffering. You see, in the world, in the samsara, most of the sufferings are just creation of our own mind. You know, by the mind, through the wrong motivation, wrong action, we create a lot of suffering. You know. So here we have the excellent opportunity how to reflect on our mind as a source for peace and happiness. So this teaching, as Dr. Lai arranged, do some translations, and these few topics that he chose are the precious teachings of Kyobpa Rinpoche, or Lord Jigten Sungkun, wrote from his enlightened mind for the benefit of all sentient beings. These teachings are as fresh as now, which are written in the 12th century. So we reflect on these, and then we can discuss, and I will try my best to convey as clear as possible, so we cultivate our mind to achieve complete enlightenment. Complete enlightenment means to awaken our mind. Our mind is the foundation of the enlightenment. That mind is which follows into the path. And then as a result, we opened our whole mind to see it as enlightened. So this is very precious. That's why we need to open our mind, our heart, and go through this. So today, the topic is a teaching.
Rinpoche, sorry to interrupt. Linda, can you please turn off Rinpoche's video and turn it on again? I think again it's fuzzy. Just click stop video and then now. Okay, I think it's okay now.
Better?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
So this morning, the teaching what we have is a teaching that the resultant qualities follow from the two accumulations, not from hardship, something like that. You know? So this means the resultant means complete enlightenment. We will achieve the enlightenment through the accumulation of the wisdom and the merit. Means Buddhahood is the result of the perfection of the causes and conditions. So we have to have a great teacher who can show us to do these things, not just being hardship, you know. So it's coming down there, here. Just reflect to ourselves, you know, in the suffering, in the samsara. There's a lot of sufferings. Like look at the animals there. There's so much suffering. And we also individually look at ourselves. Sometimes mentally we're tortured by ourselves. We go through a lot of suffering, but that doesn't help us to free from suffering. That doesn't help us to achieve enlightenment. So suffering alone, the hardship alone, is not the cause for the enlightenment. So we need a special technique, key, how we can do the suffering. We need wisdom and compassion. Wisdom as the insight mind, a critical insight mind, which helps us to see what are the causes of the suffering. And compassion helps us how to put action into that. It's called skillful method. So then I will read from this text and then we study. Homage to the Lord Gurus means here Guru, you know, is not just a title, Guru, who can give us wisdom, who can lead us from delusion towards enlightenment. That's called Guru or Lama, not from the title. No. So this is very important. It's called authentic teacher who has a sincere motivation, who has studied, practiced the teachings, and who understood the reality nature of the samsara and enlightenment. And that teacher who helps us to open our heart and to dispel our delusions. So here, gurus, plural, there are so many different types of guru who are enlightened, like Buddha, or great masters of our lineage, like Milarepa, Kyobpa, Jigten Sungun. Those are the guru who are fully enlightened. Because of their enlightenment, activities benefited countless sentient beings. And then on the way, there are many different types of gurus. So we pay homage to our root guru and the lineage gurus. And then he has said, generally, when wishing to practice the profound path, none of the Buddhas of 3 times have never taught that one will attain awakening by merely taking on the experience of suffering, just as beings of samsara's 3 realms do. So here saying the Buddhas of the past, present, future, they're all taught. Like say, Four Noble Truth, look at, Buddha said, understand the suffering. First, we need to understand. We all know nobody wants the suffering, but we don't understand what suffering is about. So it is very important first we get to understand what suffering is about. Different types of suffering. It's not just one. In our human realm, you see, we have suffering of aging. Everyone is aging, getting older and older. When we age, we forget easily. Our physicals are incapable doing things. Then we get sick, you see, full of pain, and then finally we die. So this all, everybody, we all agree on this. We don't want them, but we go through this. But this suffering doesn't help us to free from suffering. And then we don't get what we want. We get what we don't want. Everybody, Buddhist, non-Buddhist, believer, non-believer, we all agree upon this, you see. So that pain that we experience in our life doesn't help us to free from suffering. Instead, sometimes we create more suffering. So that's why Buddha said we should know what suffering is about. Once we know about the suffering, then Buddha talked about the cause of the suffering. So we should understand the cause of suffering and avoid them. So this is the most important, because suffering we don't have much choice now. We go through it. We don't like it or like it, but not much choice. But we have every choice, the cause, not to create the cause of suffering. So that's the wisdom of the Buddha. It's so precious, you see. It's not a Buddhist, as I mentioned quite a few times. The cause of suffering is not a Buddhist belief, or it's not a Buddhism, but it's universal. So for example, our mental delusions, anger, self-grasping, attachment, everybody has this, but we don't recognize them as the cause of suffering. More we have grasping on ourselves, attachment, aversion, then suffering manifests without choice, because that's the cause we're creating. So all our Dharma study and practice, we have to focus on this, how to avoid, how to purify the cause of suffering. So that's why, yes, Jesus mentioned, just as the sentient beings of samsaras, 3 realms do, the suffering they have. Nobody can achieve enlightenment through these suffering, but we can achieve the enlightenment by avoiding the cause of those suffering. So that's in Tibetan first. Chir lamsa moshik nyamso lenshena yusum sangye tamjeki kamsung kurwe simjana dunghe nyamso langsamji janjo tobora masungde. So the next is what he said was in Tibetan, Sonyi stape kumena debu samje metopa darun nenjuru magwam here. If the cause, the collection of the true accumulation is lacking, the result, Buddhahood, will not be attained. Oh, yogis, do you still not understand this? So now this is a two accumulations. Now you see, two accumulations are the accumulation of merit, the accumulation of wisdom. Accumulation of merit is all the methods. Just for example, protecting, keeping the 10 virtues. Like a lay practitioner, we have all the possibilities, opportunity to avoid 10 non-virtues and gather the 10 virtues, so forth. And then practice of compassion, loving kindness, and developing bodhicitta. First, we start with the relative bodhicitta, called aspiration bodhicitta, then action bodhicitta. Start that. Then after that, you see the practice of generosity, moralities, and patience, perseverance, samadhi, bring the mind in the right place. So this all is called the accumulation of merit. These are the cause to bring more peace in our individual's life than at the society at large. With this, we do those things because these are good for us and for everybody in the world. See, as other days I mentioned, everybody appreciates, even animals, your love, compassion. You see, anybody who has a sincere love and compassion and taking responsibilities, there's peace in our own mind, and that will prevail the peace in the society. Even in our family, in the family, like say the mother, the father, who has more compassion, who has more loving kindness, all the family member draw to that father or mother, because those individuals, they receive peace, joy from these practices, you see. So that that creates called special environment for peace and happiness, you see. Not just by praying, saying good things, but through these actions. Then the wisdom means wisdom which knows these things, who are fully convinced, who has the conviction, the cause, knowing the cause, that what result will manifest. So the cause makes the decision to manifest the result. So that wisdom, special insight, allow us to see these things. And then those compassion practice, we follow with that and put the action on. So that's because that wisdom is called the accumulation of the wisdom and the accumulation of the merit. So wisdom, there's many layers of the wisdom. And the wisdom, when you go deeper in your insight, not just knowing this, like say, technologies, all these things. There are a lot of people have wisdom or very smart. There are some technologies and all different, there's communications, there's high tech, but not necessarily these are the good wisdom, But here wisdom is knowing the cause of suffering, knowing the cause of the peace and happiness, and giving us such kind of a conviction what that wisdom gives us, peace and happiness, and what that gives us from suffering, from which cause. And then from there, you see everything is interdependent. You see, we know all are interdependent, interconnected. See, nothing functions independently. Like say, to make a cup of tea, just see how many things you need to make a cup of tea. You need a stove, you need fire, you need a pot, water, at least a bag of tea. Then if you want to add more, milk, sugar. So from all these things, you just make a cup of tea. So that cup of tea is not independent. It's not just one thing. It's the combination of so many causes and conditions. So when you say investigate carefully, that very cup of tea, nature itself, is very illusory nature. It's just manifested from many causes and conditions that go together. So that very nature is illusory nature. It's just a reflection. It's the reflection of all these causes and conditions. Having said that, so that cup of tea, the nature is emptiness. That's why you see. It can change, So emptiness does not exist somewhere else. That very cup of tea, what you are drinking, is that nature is emptiness. And the drinker yourself is also, you see, combination of many causes and conditions. It's illusory nature. So through this, gives us a wisdom to see everything is just a reflection of many causes and conditions. It's the reflection of the ideas, and then we put together. and then functions. So there's nothing to grasp. There's nothing to fixate it. So there's a called illusory nature. That's why it is called emptiness, you see. So that's the wisdom. When you realize this, then the suffering is not exist. See, because suffering is also manifested from many causes and conditions. So here we're dealing with cause. No? Understand the cause and conditions. And we have all this opportunity to avoid the cause of suffering. That's why Buddha said, you should understand the suffering and avoid the cause of suffering. So you see, this is very important. So, see, if the cause, the collection of the two accumulation is lacking, you see, the result, Buddhahood, will not be attained, you see. So through these, as I mentioned, when I'm missing these causes and conditions, no matter how much you want to attain Buddhahood, will not achieve. No matter how much you say prayers, chant mantras. So we need to have that kind of wisdom and cause here. Now, this Lord Chitosumbu is pointing out. It's such a precious teaching. No, he was not talking from the intellectual point of view, but from the experiential. He experienced enlightenment, Buddhahood, what it takes. He knows what it takes, what kind of causes, conditions is necessary. Not just intellectually investigation, but through the experience. And he got all this methods and wisdom on that is giving us these precious teachings. So all yogis, do you still not understand this, you see, the practitioners in the world, those who are in the mountain, you must understand these things. So this is such a precious wisdom, I think, Yeah. Then next is what is saying, Banda naru pejinki, senten lama telepa, chunyi pato tene chang, kawat namba chunyi ki, lama tamba nyepra ze, choto tumu ngutup te, lama tamba nyebe chung, pu kwa manur nyajurpa, you see. Now he's giving some examples, you see. The glorious Pandita Naropa. Many of you have heard of Naropa. The disciple of Telopa and the teacher of Marba. Naropa was one of the top teachers, scholars in Nalanda University. We know Nagarjuna from Nalanda. Likewise, Naropa, at his time, the Nalanda was well established, a university. But many great masters, especially with the Naropa, his scholarship was everybody appreciated. But that being said, he was not satisfied his understanding of all this Buddha's teaching, both Sutra and Tantra, because he could not capture the innate nature of the mind. So he was looking for a great teacher. So finally he met Kyobpa. So that's, attended his qualified guru, Kyobpa, for 12 years, you see. Kyobpa was an enlightened master. So Naropa met Kyobpa, and then he attended for 12 years. During those 12 years, and through the 12 hardships, so Naropa went through 12 great hardships and 12 smaller hardships. Altogether, 24 different hardships he went through. But that didn't help him to achieve enlightenment. During all those great hardships that Naropa went through, Naropa did not attain Buddhahood. But at the end, pleased his sublime guru. After all this test, Kyobpa understood that Naropa has the proper vessel to receive the teaching, the wisdom. So Kyobpa was very pleased, happy about the Naropa's sincerity. No matter what, he is fully dedicated in the Dharma study practice. So then, the common and supreme cities arise from delighting the sublime gurus, you see. So then, Kyobpa gave the right instruction, because Kyobpa knew totally about the Naropa's nature, how dedicated he was, and accumulated merit, and ready to receive the final wisdom, the teaching. And then Kyobpa has given this precious teaching because of the accumulation of the merit and wisdom. Naropa achieved the Buddhahood, not through the hardship. See, all my yogi sons are not in understanding that. Say, do you understand this? You should understand not through the hardship, but through the great accumulation of the merit and wisdom. We should also see that. So, as I mentioned a few times, we need a right guru, good teacher, good lama, and then we also, practitioners, have such a sincere dedication, unwavering motivation for enlightenment. Through these causes and conditions, interdependently functions. So the teacher's responsibilities and practitioner's responsibility, we have all this opportunity to free from the suffering. So that's why, in all these teachings, you have heard of so much. So renounce the samsara. means this illusory nature, no matter how much we attach to this, we will not get the complete satisfaction. So, since we desire for peace and happiness, since you have the desire to free from suffering, so look at what makes the most sense. So avoid the cause of suffering. Just an example, when you have a beautiful cup, so, oh, I like this, my cup. This is so precious. This is everything in my life now. So when you're so attached to that, without realizing the cup is very temporary. I'm perceiving my cup as something permanent. Hold my attention to the cup. Then one day the cup breaks. Then it breaks my heart because I'm so attached to my cup. But if I have really wisdom, the cup is very temporary, transitory nature. I need it just to drink a cup of tea, water, no? Not everything in my life the cup is about. See, if we are prepared that in our relative state, we need these things, conditions, but not everything. So when the cup breaks, it doesn't bring much suffering because I prepared for. Make sense? Look at these things. So release the cause of suffering. Avoid the cause of suffering. Sometimes you may think, oh, Buddha's teaching, we have the renunciation, this and that. And then, you know, this becomes a negative. But in this case, it becomes a positive. You use your cup to drink tea, water, anything that you need to use. No? So all these things. So mentally prepare. You have the wisdom to see things, how everything functions. So you have the conviction. As I mentioned, this is not a Buddhist something belief or Buddhism, or no, not dogmatizing. So we should be very careful, don't dogmatize by Buddhist. Rather, we should study, practice, no, what it makes sense, how to free from suffering, especially the cause of suffering. When something goes wrong, because you studied, you reflected in the impermanence, it's not so painful, no, as it was what other texts, no. So this one of the example. Now there's another example which is very obvious, clear. See, but the marble hotapa, Semonto Junejang, Namsha Tondo, Jubata, Sanga Chopa Pameke, Dua member Zabayan, Sonam Sapet, Tedi, Bukatubla Yente, Marizus. Next is nice and related to Marpa, you see. The glorious Marpa of Lhota means southern. Marpa was southern Tibet, south from Lhasa, south. he actualized the state of luminosity, means Mahamudra. He totally realized the Mahamudra. See? So there's no obscurations. So luminosity means there's no obscuration in his mind. And then it's this translation may be a little bit need to some corrections. In Tibetan skull, Namshir Tongdu Jukpa. Tongju is a type of power which Marpa has. That he has the ability, that his mind, consciousness can go to the dead bodies. And now that now can become fresh person. So he has that kind of ability, just say, you know, and also Sangha, the activities of the cigarette mantra, a limitless that kind of qualities. Through these, he matured, he matured sentient beings, means he benefited so many sentient beings through these activities. This is not through the hardship or through just playing his ego, rather through his wisdom, through his compassion. So this, what he achieved, this ability, is through the interdependence of the merit and wisdom. So the limitless merit and wisdom, not through the hardship. Even though, of course, Marpa went through great hardship also, traveling at that time in the 10th century, He went from Tibet to India. Look at India at that time, you can imagine forest, dense forests, tigers, snakes, thieves, but he was alone. And it's just not one day. Day after days, weeks after week, month after month, he made journey to meet Narupa and Metipa. But despite this all hardship, he made a successful trip due to great accumulation of merit and wisdom. He received teachings, perfect teaching from Narupa and Metipa and so forth. And he studied them, practiced them, achieved that luminosity, Mahamudra. And through that, he benefited so many sentient beings. This is not because of the hardship, but because of all the causes and conditions, the interdependent of the merit and wisdom. So we Dharma practitioners also should have this kind of skill, a wisdom, first to capture this method and practice ourselves. The next is countless others conducted of secret mantras. These were all for the interdependency in terms of acquiring merit. My son, do not entertain the hopes that as asceticism has qualities. So don't just get everything from the hardship itself, like not eating food, not drinking, no. These are just some method. But most important is look at the mind and make the right kind of decision based on the wisdom. So through that, you'll achieve the qualities. Now, next, another very important example, as we all know about. Nejo wanju mela de satame to serve katupki yundo sobar mazunde namen lama tambalam sonam saben devins. See now, it is not taught that the Lord of Yogis, Milarepa, perfected the exalted qualities through the asceticism of eating only nettle soup. It was the result of meritorious accumulations towards the unsurpassed sublime Guru. So this are very, now, it's all well known how Milarepa practiced Dharma. So even under the Marpas, how much he went hardship. Marpa treated him like a dust, but without any wavering, totally contributed. Even he is suicidal. Still, there's no any change his mind to study, practice Dharma teachings. So through that hardship, Milarepa not attain to Buddhahood. You see. Finally, when Milarepa has proved that he has the proper vessel, so then Marpa accepted him and gave all these necessary teachings. So through that, Milarepa digest all those precious teachings. These teachings are so precious because this teaching that what Milarepa received caused one to attain Buddhahood. So that's why, as Milarepa proved, he has the total proper vessel, mind. He is totally prepared, ready to receive all the teachings, no matter what cost. So, having proven that conditions, so then Marpa said, I went to India, received all these Dakini teachings. I went to India with the risk of my life to receive these teachings. Now I will give to you, Milarepa. So after Milarepa received these precious teachings, so that finally then Milarepa went to retreat. And then she experienced these teachings and all his adventitious obscurations that surrounds the heart are fully dispelled, purified, and Milarepa achieved the Buddhahood. That now we know the Milarepa attained the Buddhahood in single lifetime. It's proving, not just saying, so now, oh, Vajrayana can achieve Buddhahood in one lifetime. Many people say that, but there are very few. You see, there are very few can prove that. But Milarepa did it. So because of that, his disciples become so powerful. Like Kyobpa, Milarepa gave all the proper teachings, complete teaching from Marpa. And Milarepa said, don't wandering around here and there. Practice when to go to retreat. Stay in the retreat and practice them. So Kyobpa, after receiving these teachings, he went to retreat for 6 years. And finally, also Kyobpa attended Buddhahood. Not just scholar. Kyobpa was a great scholar. So you can read the Jewel Ornament of Liberation. Look at all the quotations he put there. Because that's the first Lamrim in Tibet, written by Tibetan. That shows he studied all the sutras, shastras, Vajrayana teachings, so that he could bring all the quotations from this. He was a great scholar, but he was not satisfied with his scholarship. He totally dedicated and attended Buddhahood after 6 years, departing from Milarepa. So that you see that how Milarepa achieved the enlightenment, Buddhahood in single lifetime. So when you read his life stories, you see, at the time when Milarepa was now going for parinirvana, some of his disciples said, you must be reincarnation of Vajradhara or great Buddhas or Bodhisattvas. How anyone can achieve your like as you did, So they just cried, we are so poor disciple, Then Milarepa said, you see me as a Vajradhara. It's very good, It's a pure vision you have. But in the case of the Dharma, he said, this is a very wrong view. You don't understand the power of the causality of the Dharma. Even before Milarepa said, even before I understood the emptiness, but I was convinced the role of the causality, the karma. He said, I totally convinced about the karma. And I saw the nature of the samsara, suffering. So because of that, I have no other choice. Just follow the path. Milarepa said, if everybody has this kind of conviction about the causality, the karma, everybody will become like me. Because Dharma has all the possibilities. Dharma has all the ability to purify all our obscurations. So he said, one can do it. Because he said, if you created such a heavy negative karma, heinous karma, that will cause to reborn in the hell realm. Likewise, if you practice Dharma this way, total conviction of the causality and understanding of the samsara, everybody has opportunity to attain enlightenment. So you see, it's not because of Milarepa's hardship achieved the Buddhahood, but because of the Milarepa's conviction in the causality of samsara and accumulated great enough merit and wisdom that allowed him to achieve the Buddhahood. That's what is said here now. So that pleases the Marpa. And then Milarepa received the complete teachings from Marpa. See? So that's why I say it was the result of meritorious accumulations towards the unsurpassed, sublime Guru. So these are you say. There's some, I know some practitioners, first maybe I don't go that way. Now next, what is that? We done Milarepa. Sonam sakwe tat kena chichung da sanye metokte lama nyeba siksu ches. So next he said, when you are skilled in the method of accumulating merit, there is no large or small, good or bad. The important thing is to delight the Guru. So as I mentioned, the Guru need the qualities, the ability, not just Guru has to be such sitting on the high throne, you know, not that. So see, when you have the skill, so no tapkala says, you know, when you have the skill, a great skill on the understanding of the causality of the samsara and the nirvana. So no need to be, for the first, you are a great person or good person, this and that. When we are prepared, all this wisdom, you know, and how to please the Lama means, how to please the Guru means, how to delight the Guru means, is not just give some cup of tea, you know, see, oh, a place to live, you know. It's not that. The real Lama is delighted, will be so pleased if the disciple has such a proper vessel to receive all the teachings and to free from samsara, to attain enlightenment. Doesn't matter that he is rich or poor, good looking or not good looking. No, that's kind of the Guru, the teacher is that. Like, you know, so like Milarepa, he has nothing to offer to Marpa. No. But Milarepa is fully dedicated, so that's why Marpa was so happy about it and pleased Marpa. Like that, we don't judge this person is good or this person is not good. No need to judge. Mentally need to prepare it. No? And that will help us to free from samsara. to free from all the suffering. So Buddha came on this planet not looking for some rich patterns. No. But Buddha came on this planet to help all the sentient beings who has no protector, who are suffering. So these great masters, look at the like Marpa, and look at the Lord Jigten Sungkun. See, Lord Jigten Sungkun, he gathers so many disciples. Some are so rich, some are so poor, but he treated all are equal. But he cherished most those who are fully dedicated to enlightenment, to benefit sentient beings. That's why it's for us, it's very important to preserve these kind of teachings, not cultural aspect, not Buddhist cultural aspect, but Buddha's teaching, the wisdom. No? So that's what is his. Then next, say, Kyobpa Songbu Sanjela, Sadu da Reiki Kasarsam, Hune Tuki Shulabe, Kyobpa Songbu Sunghatang. So now here next is said. So having offered mere dust and ragged cloth, here dust means not really dust itself, but does it cost anything? No. That whatever he has, and ragged cloth, to the Buddhas of the excellent Eon. See, excellent Eon, and requesting the generation of bodhicitta, it thus became known as the excellent eons. This is related to our Shakyamuni Buddha. If you read the Buddha's scripture, Kesang Do, the Sutra of the Fortunate Eon, in that mentioned, when Shakyamuni Buddha, first when he cultivated bodhicitta, at that time, it was limitless eons, ago. There was Buddha was called Shakyamuni at that time also. And our Buddha Shakyamuni was just ordinary person, very poor, nothing. So he offered to that Buddha a bowl of soup, that's what it's saying, dust, and a piece of cloth to the Buddha. So that in front of that Buddha, may I become like you. So he cultivated bodhicitta. Same as your name, same as your retinue, same as this place like you have. No. So that time that our Buddha Shakyamuni was not a rich, he was not a wealthy, but just a beggar, poor. But he cultivated that. So since then for 3 limitless kalpas, he started to practice Dharma. Especially bodhicitta, some bodhicitta, Bodhicitta is so precious. We all should keep in our mind. Never forget bodhicitta. to attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. It's not a Buddhist idea. Even in the world, there are some leaders, they don't know what bodhicitta is about, but they know the importance, take the responsibility of the country, of the people. So there, these some great leaders, they just tell to the people, don't be selfish, but look at the country, look for the people. We are the service for the country, for the people, see. So bodhicitta is greater than that for all sentient beings. It's not something a Buddhism, but it's something universal, taking the responsibility of the whole sentient beings, not only human beings, all the sentient beings, because we all are suffering. Human beings, non-human beings in the samsara. And we are working so hard to free from suffering, but we don't have the wisdom. We don't have the method. So we're just chasing the suffering. In order to free from suffering, we chase the suffering because due to lack of the wisdom. So bodhicitta is the single most important point. If you practice emptiness without bodhicitta, cannot go too far. But if you study, practice emptiness on the base of bodhicitta, then you are making a right choice to free from samsara, to attain enlightenment. So here's the Lord Jigten Sungku saying, it doesn't count hardship, but it counts correct causes and condition to free from entire suffering, to attain complete enlightenment. He's saying, doesn't matter how many eons it will take, but if you have the right direction, right guru, then that will help us to free from samsara, all the suffering, and achieve total peace and happiness. And just that counts. That's the most important. See? Then what is next? See, let us see. Lubu chubu tokzibe, pandis sangbu lamala. Luzi hi chubayi, nyebe tambe nyebale. Lome choki, mudu top. So now next is they said. The great master Otalipa is one of the 80 Mahasiddha. In Tibet called Tokziba. And that he offered 4 lines of song to his most excellent and glorious teacher. See, and by supremely delighting him, and the disciple attained the supreme siddhis, or disciple achieved the great benefits. Disciple achieved the great benefits, supreme siddhis. It's not that they the four offering the 4 lines of song. The Toxipa, Lopen Toxipa, the Kodalipa. As I mentioned, he was one of the 84 Mahasiddhas. He knew the disciple. Perfectly, directly. So the disciple has nothing else but through the sincerity and such great devotion, yearning to free from samsara and yearning to attain Buddhahood. So he made these 4 lines of the song just to please the master. And the master was so pleased. He was not attached to the song, but his sincerity of the disciple. He tried his best, and he understood that. So because of that, the master gave him the perfect instruction. And he studied, practiced them, and he got such great purpose or benefit from this and achieved attained the Mahasiddhi, the great accomplishment of the practice. The next is saying in Tibet it's called Lube Paba Lutubla Gargin Shile Jamsing Sum. Gargin Shile Jamsing Sum. Droga Tuchi Puwaim. Dunje Tuchi Mutu Top. Usually you don't hear about this kind of story here, What I said is, by offering a round of dance to the Arya Nagarjuna, 3 sisters from a caste of the dancers accomplished the great purpose and attained siddhis, you see. Usually we think Nagarjuna was very serious, a very serious monk. You don't hear these things. But when you open all the activities, Nagarjuna can connect all the different types of the practitioners. So there are 3 sisters belong to the dancer. So because they are so skilled in the dancing, since they have that kind of quality, so out of their sincerity and what they have, and they made that offering to Nagarjuna. And Nagarjuna is not attached to their dance, but their sincerity. They try to offer what they have. Nagarjuna was not saying, oh, you are just making dance, all these things, I'm monk, so I cannot accept that. No, he was not saying that. He was looking at those practitioners, how sincere their mind is. They're offering what they have, so I should accept that. And he was so pleased about their sincerity. And they're sharing what they have, their skill. So Nagarjuna accepted their offerings and then gave them instruction. Instruction how to free from samsara. And they those sisters, they studied that, they practiced that. They are fully convinced what Nagarjuna said and followed the path and achieved such great purpose. Siddhis, full accomplishment. So you see, now here is putting emphasis to accumulation of merit, accumulation of wisdom. They are the single most method way to attain, to free from samsara, to achieve enlightenment. It's not a culture thing. It's something, it's just describing about the causality, you see. Yeah, next.
Rinpoche, should we take a break right now?
You want to have a break?
Yeah, it's in the middle, so maybe.
Okay.
We'll take 15 minutes.
Oh, sure. Baza Sato Samaya, Mano Palaya, Baza Sato Denoba, Dita Deto Membawa, Sudo Kayo Membawa, Subo Kayo Membawa, Anorado Membawa, Sarwa Sede Meprayata, Sarwa Karma, Sudame, Sedanam, Shreya, Guru Hung, Ha Ha, Bagawana Sarwa Tata Gata Madrama Memuta, Barzimbawa Ma Samaya Sato. Okay, please refresh.
Thank you. So we'll take about 15 minutes break. So here also an announcement and a request. There are some of us here who have been students of Rinpoche for a long, long time. I am in search of a particular CD that was produced many years ago, probably done in a sound studio where Rinpoche was chanting a number of mantras and prayers. I don't have that CD. I believe some of you might have that CD. If you can get in touch with me and send the contents of that CD, probably can be uploaded in some site and then download. We would like to put on Rinpoche's YouTube channel, as many of you know, recently with friends in Indonesia, the Drigong Atisha Center there. We are starting to put more and more of Rinpoche's recorded teachings and chants and different things on that YouTube channel. Of course, when you go to YouTube, you'll find many things by Rinpoche already, but they are kind of scattered all over the place by different people, different centers, which is wonderful. More people can find them, but we would also like to put more things on the channel that has been created for Rinpoche and with Rinpoche's blessings and knowledge. So if you have that CD, please let me know. I will send you also in the chat group my email contact so that we can get that done. Thank you, everyone. So let's take a break.